Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity powered by Empowering Science Foundation. Today we have Dr. Shashi Shekhar Singh with us. Dr. Shashi has done masters from Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi in biotech, and he pursued his PhD also from JNU and moved to United States of America for his postdoctoral work. First, he started with Cleveland Clinic in Ohio, and presently he is a postdoc at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland also. With this small introduction, I would like to welcome Dr. Shashi at the platform.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raja, for inviting me at your platform, and I am too happy to be here with you. So yeah, so let's
So
do.
let's start the conversation. So Shashi, we start always our conversation that how and when you decided that you wanted to be a researcher.
Oh, this is a very good question, actually. I never thought about this. Somebody will ask me. So let me remind, I think so, myself, how I have started. Actually, when I was in bachelor, that time I was more fascinating with sectioning of animals. So
Mm-hmm.
like cockroach and this earthworm and the fishes. When my teachers and professor was giving these talks, I was so happy, and I was waiting like time when it will come and I will do the sectioning and all those things. So
Mm-hmm.
that makes me like to come into the science and how these organism are working together, and their every organ are so synchronized. So I was so happy. So that time I decided, okay, let's do something in this field. So then what I can say, uh, like I can say then that time I was not knowing I will go into the research, but
Mm-hmm.
actually I was doing some medical preparation. Okay, I will do some medical preparation that time, so I can serve for the society. But that didn't work out, and then I selected in the JNU for the master program in the biotechnology, where I was having lots of exposure. And sometime from the village to when I moved from village to Delhi, I was getting cultural shock within the country.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are saying when you are coming from other country to the next country, you will get the shock, cultural shock. But I was getting the shock when I was moving within the country. So,
Mm-hmm.
so then in the masters, in the first semester, I was because their teachers and their professor are so intelligent and all those things. I was not able to catch them. So how they are like teaching me at that time. So, but I did my hard work, and I somehow I catch them and that pace. And in the second year of the masters, there is a coursework for you have to do 1 year dissertation with the any lab. So uh, I did with in School of Biotechnology with the MS Rajalaman. So she was working on the viruses, influenza viruses. So then again, it is more fascinating because influenza virus is a eight segmented RNA virus. So I was thinking, oh, why these are eight segmented? Why not in one? And how they are attacking to the host, and how they are packaging only eight, not nine, not 10. So all
Mm-hmm.
questions was jumbling in my mind. So that those actually platform gave me and pushed me towards the research actually.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lots of coursework in my masters, which is based on the research work. And those teachers and professors were teaching me in a that way, like you have to go for the research. So those things, I think, uh, pushed me towards the research actually. And
So these are few of the, very critical points when we talk about Indian background, the education, and as
mhm.
you clearly mentioned about the cultural shock, about the exposure you got at GNU. So
Yeah.
if we start pre-PhD, that for our young researchers who are enthusiasts and who want to pursue their life, starting with masters, what are your suggestions that what should be critical in thinking or before joining a master's program? Because
Mhm.
you have different universities offered the same program, but
Mhm.
once you move from city to town to anywhere, as you mentioned, the cultural shock obviously was there, but there was more fruitful, outcomes which you got once you landed in GNU. If you can talk a bit about those things, and then obviously we will walk to PhD.
Yeah, like JNU is a different culture. So that's why JNU has a number one in the country, because you will get the all type of like peoples there, and interdisciplinary courses, and there is a lots of chances to collaborate with other faculties, because there is a lots of science school is going on there, and also there is a ethics and social sciences also there, so you have a lots of opportunity there. Somehow, if you are doing in science something, then you have to contact with the ethics person or social science person, how this research is going to impact on social sciences, and how this research is following the ethics or not. Like, so these are following the protocols, these are following the or not. You can easily you can get the all the knowledge in there. So you are asking, what is my suggestion for the students who is going to join a master's program, right?
Yeah.
So in the master's program, first like in first year you have to not decide where to go. Like in the second year, when you are joining for the dissertations, for the research dissertation, then you have to carefully join the professor in which you have some interest, because masters is only for the exposure, not for the doing the PhD, and
Yeah.
you have to choose only like 1 year. In 1 year, you will only see the you will only exposed with the instrument and all those things, and so just to choose the area which one is making you happy and making you like you have a lots of curious about that topic, so that you
Mhm.
can ask so much questions. So choose those topics simply, and work with that for 1 year, and let it be where it is going, the things. So you'll definitely, if research is not like a 1 day practice, it is a
Mhm.
consistent practicing. So if you give the time, you will develop the interest in those things actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
So here I would like to tell all the audience that Shashi has made a one point very clear, that masters can give you the feel how it would be for your research work in PhD.
Yeah.
So you can say that if you are interested in research, give it a try. The dissertation, it can be 6 months to 1 year, but it will give you only the experience of tip of the iceberg, because PhD is altogether another story. Moving towards Shashi now.
Yeah, I want to
Yes,
mention
please.
one thing here.
Yes,
So
please.
sometime I feel in the masters, like uh, during the deciding the research topic, or some student are really interested in that professor and their topic, but somehow they are not getting those topic because they have some rules and regulation, like that teacher can take only two students, they cannot take three students. So, and like on the basis of marks, somehow you failed to go into that topic.
Mm-hmm.
So do not like give up that things. So
Mhm.
still you have a chance, like you can contact with like students and that professor by doing other research also. You can just take a feel. So don't give up there. Like somehow I feel like those students they really want this professor, and they somehow they didn't work out. So
Mhm.
they should not give up, and they should just make a connection, because in research collaboration is a key factor actually.
True.
So
Absolutely. So, Shashi, now once you made up your mind that you want to do a PhD, what
yeah,
were the opportunities you explored before joining JNU?
yeah. So I took see after doing my masters, I took 1 year break, and I went to the ICGB for doing the projects. So in ICGB, I saw like how people are working and sharing the reagents and instrument and everything, sharing the knowledge under the one roof actually. So that makes me more feeling comfortable that time. So I thought, okay, because now I have given lots of time in the research, like 1 year master dissertation and 1 year project. So now I decided, okay, this field is good for me because I'm feeling more comfortable in this. And I definitely there is a lots of pressure from the home, like how from my parents, like you have to do the job and all those things. But yeah, so that time I was earning the some amount, so that I was not taking any help from the financial help, not emotionally help. So emotional help always it is benefited from home. So yeah, so then that time I was getting some stipend, and I was somehow I was managing. So then I decided like, okay, then I gave the entrance test from the JNU, and then I got selected, and I moved with my fellowship in the JNU. So
Mhm.
that time I was a little harder time to choose the labs, which one
Mhm.
is where to go, because I have selected in the both School of License and School of Environmental Science. I was looking the great scientist as well as great topics,
Mhm.
and in which I am interested. So more likely in the masters, I exposed with the host pathogen interaction because I worked with the viruses. How
Mhm.
so I was looking in this, and in ICGB also I worked with the host pathogen interaction, like in chikungunya and dengue virus. So those things, I think they build my foundations.
Mhm.
So I I was looking only those labs they are working on the host pathogen interaction. And luckily, I found my mentor, like Sudha Bhattacharya.
Mhm.
She a very eminent scientist and a great lady, personal and nature-wise, everything. So she taught me how to do research actually. And
Okay.
yeah, I took clearly 6 year. So there is a lots of fall and uprise. Everything is going on. So sometimes I I felt like I should leave this. Oh my God, this is so tough. But yeah, there is a lots of people. They encourage me. Basically, importantly, my supervisor. So somehow there is a lots of lab meeting is going on, and there is a lots of learning in the PhD actually.
Mhm. So let's say keep it this way that your PhD was just a normal PhD in India with its own ups and downs and rise. But what makes every PhD unique that your experience and the lessons which you learned, which you can
Mm-hmm.
share with the community. And this is the reason why at Researcher Celebrity, what we do is like we always try to build a network where people can come together, share their experiences, so that a researcher who's facing some issue now at any stage of their research career, then
Yeah.
can have a sense that, okay, they are not alone in this. People have walked through this path and they have
Yes.
succeeded. So just
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one extra reason to stay in the research, to stay focused for one more step, that is the motive behind having conversation with researcher celebrities like you and
Mhm.
others, which we always do.
So, since my lab was well funded and everything, I never feel like any like scarcity with the reagent and all those things. I
Mm-hmm.
always help the people actually in that constant because every lab is not well funded. So,
True.
so I can understand other people's problem because there is a lack of reagents and all those things. So in that way, they have to wait for a long and they have to arrange all those things. So those things are frustrating things actually in India. So what you can do in that sense, just you can write the email where you are expecting these reagents are there. So just
Mm-hmm.
write to those professor. I was doing that things also because I was collaborating even abroad also, like and they helped me literally. They send me the construct and everything. So you have to approach them. Don't to be hesitate actually. That
Mm-hmm.
if you speak, people will listen actually. So there is a two type of there is a many type of people. Some people are listening, some people are responding. So you have to just raise your voice. It will somebody will like listen and they will reply and your problem they will sort out. So those problem actually somehow I'm correlating because I'm listening from the other researchers. Hey, I don't have a reason. So how can I perform? So I told, okay, I can help you in this. And if I don't have, I can recommend someone names. Okay, you can just follow him. So in that way, they can solve the problem. And second thing I'm facing like in India, if you don't have a publications,
Mm-hmm.
then you can't submit your thesis.
Mm-hmm.
So that problem, because that problem comes with my my colleagues, not colleagues, like my batchmate who has done with PhD with not masters with me. They were having problem because they don't have a publication and they took PhD in a like a long lasting like 8 year, and in
Mm-hmm.
that way they lose the interest because if somebody is going for 8 year in PhD, then they definitely losing the interest and they are just hoping somehow this I will take this degree and I will go in somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So these things I think supervisors should keep in mind. So because they have to they have to snatch those people in the interest. They should not lose their interest. So they have to keep watching and like so that their researcher cannot lose the interest because of the time and all those things. So yeah, so those things matters actually in India. So I think so. And what other things I can share? Yeah, sometimes experiment is not working. That is also like I was fixing since 1 year for the protein expression. Like I was not getting any protein in the in the native form. So I took a 1 year to standardizing. So you can imagine 1 year, one work only. I am coming and doing one work. So frustrating actually. But somehow I make myself in that phase more
Mm-hmm.
curious to solve this problem because I was learning my because I was learning through my failure how to make this failure in a learning opportunity. I was not making this failure as a burden on
Absolutely.
myself. Yeah.
No,
So
we had a recent conversation with one of our researcher celebrity. He's a assistant professor at Tata Institute for Fundamental Research.
mhm.
And he is the mentor which I believe an early faculty or anyone should follow. He said in their lab, they have a big poster that failures are accepted and respected here.
Yes,
And that's
yes.
one I think every PhD student as well as a mentor should, co-evolve with. But I also, so the two most important points which you mentioned here, and I would like to tell to this to all the audience here, that Shashi just mentioned about the funding. Sometimes you might get lucky to be in those labs which are well funded and you don't have scarcity of anything. But even if your lab is not one of those well funded labs, Shashi mentioned a bypass to that. The collaboration is the key. Either you or your PI, or together both, you can figure out, search the labs where either it is the reagent or the resources, or it is animal or anything which is available somewhere. You can collaborate. This improves your collaboration, b the impact of your work also, because sometimes what we have seen that people don't do some extra experiment just because they don't have resources for it, and then it impacts the research in a bigger uh, scenario, because now somebody is doing a different story on only that part. But when we collaborate, when we come together, and as Shashi in initial conversation when we started this, he also mentioned about multidisciplinary research, that when different fields come together and working towards the same research question, it improves the quality of research as well as the confidence for general public also, because you have so many angles included in that. So Shashi,
So,
losing research interest is one of the
yeah.
things which you just mentioned.
Yeah, in that point, actually, you will not lose the research interest when you have a curiosity. So,
Mm-hmm.
so always, I said to every people, like, curiosity is a wireless charger. It is a wireless charger actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you are not putting in a laptop with the charger, it will discharge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have a curiosity, you are not having any charger with you, so you will definitely in somehow you will lose your interest. So always have curiosity so that will work for the moving into a system in the field actually. Yeah,
I think I have never heard anything better than this. That curiosity is the wireless charger. If you
yeah,
have it, you are charged
yeah,
for your lifetime. If you don't,
yes,
then today or tomorrow or later on, you're going to lose that interest. And
yeah.
this is great to start our next topic. So, once you completed your PhD, what were the options which you were considering at that time? And now, after like almost a half decade is gone, how it
Mm.
feels that the decisions you took at that time, how happy you are about it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I t- I took this decision actually, like when I was doing PhD in the last year of the PhD. So I was happy, I will go for the postdoc next stage, and I will see what other people are doing in other country, because I cannot see from here how they are conducting the research, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, and they are doing real, because once you will not expose, then what other people are saying, you there is a hard to believe actually, right? If you have not experienced, and definitely you have to believe, but somehow you have to go and see what is going on. So that's why I decided, okay, let's go let's go abroad and see how people are conducting the research, and what they are advancing, and why they are superior, and all those things, because lots of university in the US, they have a world ranking. So why they are in world ranking, why our university is not? So
Mm-hmm.
what they are doing extra? So then I applied for postdoc in the US, and then I found Cleveland Clinic, and then I decided to pursue. So in my postdoc, actually, I was looking like who has again funding, and they can support me for at least 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
because in research you cannot do in 1 or 2 years, you cannot publish anything, and
Mm-hmm.
you cannot yeah, you can. So you have to be in research for 3 years or more than 3 years, so to get something.
Mm-hmm.
So then I asked my PI, okay, you do have this much. Then yeah, he told, okay, I can support for 3 years. Okay. Then I come here, and then I here when I came from like Delhi and in the Cleveland clinic, I didn't feel any like things like I think research because my lab was like I told well-funded lab, so
Mm-hmm.
I never feel anything. And we have in the JNU like AIRF facility, like advanced instrument facility.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I didn't feel any like instrument wise and all those things. Only thought wise, I can say like people are here like working in a different way. Like here, people are doing regularly meetings, regularly all those things, checking
Mm-hmm.
out what is going on. And I think that is good because this is not PhD is a postdoc is not just training. It is a just to just foster the research actually.
Yes.
That's why, yeah. So I did on the aging of the muscles. So
Mm-hmm.
and so this was a really great question actually. Why like in disease person we are getting early aging? I
Mm-hmm.
know aging is a natural phenomena, but why in the disease person we are getting early aging? So
Mm-hmm.
that I was researching, and I was understanding. So so then we found some targets, and we were working on that. And with that aim, I shifted because my funding was gone. 3 year I passed, so I just joined the Case Western University,
Mm-hmm.
and where I'm working on the same questions, but I'm solving this question with a different way, means RNA therapeutics.
Mm-hmm.
Here, what we are doing, I'm doing like so I'm doing on RNA editing. If my like general people is listening, so
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say like we are editing the RNA. Like somehow in the RNA some wrong bases incorporated or modified so that wrong bases not let them translation of that RNA, so that we are not getting the right amount of proteins. So we are just correcting the RNA bases, not the genome. We are not targeting the genome, because if you target the genome, that will persist for ever in the patient. So
Mm-hmm.
we are temporarily fixing the things so that RNA having a short life period. If you incorporated anything wrong, that will washed out with the time. It will not persist for forever with the patient. So yeah, so that doing right now here.
Mm-hmm.
And here I want to mention like what I have seen from India and here, like in research wise, here I can see the gender equality, because in
Mm-hmm.
India I cannot see like there is a gender equality doing in the research work. So we have to think about the how to engage and make it equal in India too. So
Mm-hmm.
here I can see like people are maintaining this gender equality. So that problem I am seeing here. So and other things I can what I can say.
I think
Mm,
we are okay. So at Empowering Science Foundation, we do believe in breaking the barriers. And our small token was like how we can also talk about women in STEM, gender equality in there. So we did 1 month special for only women in STEM. We heard their thoughts. What we saw and what we heard, all these researchers speaking for themselves, they were like, some of them has experienced somewhere the gender inequality, but most of them were like, they have never experienced anything like discrimination based on the gender.
Yeah.
The second thing, which also I want to like to tell all to the audience and the viewers of this conversation, that Sashi has figured out one way of bypassing, like if you are lack of resource. The second important thing which Shashi just mentioned is about asking your questions, your prospective PIs. Either you are going to join PhD or postdoc, you should ask whatever the questions you have. As in Shashi's case, he was like, okay, how well funded you are, at least for 3 years, because these are the things which we, as like what I have seen, I can say for myself that most of the Indian students are very inhibiting
Yeah.
about those things. They're like, if I'll ask this, how they will think.
Thing.
Let me tell you this thing. They like very much
Ask.
the questions like this because they can understand that okay, you are interested, you are at least staying for 3 to 4 years. Because if you are not asking this thing, this question says one thing, that you are at least committing yourself for 3 years to the lab,
Yeah.
to the research, because that's the only reason why you're asking this. B, it shows that how vigilant you are towards your research, that okay, even if setting up a PCR, as simple as that, or doing any experiment, it costs money. And
Mm-hmm.
in our field, in research, we have to do the same thing over and over and over for years, which means one single rupee can be hundreds and thousands of rupees just
Right.
within a year, because you have to have all those resources. So these are the things, if you have in your mind, it is very good. If you don't, then train yourself that how much one experiment of yours cost, because then
Mm-hmm.
only you can have these conversations like Shashi mentioned. And this is a good training for yourself also, because if you want to be in academia, if you want to be in industry, if you want to be in research as a nutshell, it helps you to get training for all of those budgeting. Because what apparently has been seen, that most of the researchers are not great at administration,
Yep.
which is a very weak point, which can be fixed at the early training, as we are talking about this. So
Yeah,
Shashi,
and also
yeah.
once they are landing here, they should participate in other activities actually. So like
Mm-hmm.
leadership activity, or they can participate in postdoctoral association. They have to go and talk, so that these barriers, when you communicate many peoples,
Mm-hmm.
then then your barrier will be like like what I can say,
Gone.
like gone actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that I can say, like because earlier I was facing this problem to asking, negotiating all those things, but not right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like when I was joining my second postdoc, I asked all the questions like how much time you will give me, and how much I will have to go into the lab, and what time I will get for the other activity, like 70-30%, like 70% in lab, 30% outside of the lab. If they are agreeing, okay, yeah, you can do, because postdoc is not for doing the research also. This phase is transitioning.
Absolutely. No,
So
I
you
think
have to, yeah, you have to grow those things also, like how, like leadership, supervisory ability, all those things you have to grow along with the postdoc actually. Yeah, those
so.
things I.
Yeah. So, and this is for all the viewers who has recently joined postdoc or planning to join postdoc. Shashi figured out one, like has pointed one more point here about transitioning. Like when you are working for PhD, it is you have the target of getting that degree. Okay. But when you are a postdoc, now it is about transitioning from a student to a PI. And you
Yep.
should be very vigilant in this. You should be very careful what are the labs you are joining, what are the projects you are working. Because in longer run, if you have an idea of starting your own lab of or on group, in that say that what are the questions you are interested in, and that
Yeah.
this training will be a very highly impacting your that future idea or plan. So
Hmm.
whenever you are thinking about, it's not only joining the lab, it's about starting the collaborations, because these collaborators might end up being either your employers in a longer run, or your collaborator as a PI to PI collaboration, not a to student to PI collaboration. So these are very important points which Shashi brought to the table. So Shashi, okay, this was all about the research till now. We have last 5 minutes for the conversation. Let's
Okay.
talk about things outside research. You already started this conversation that when you were
Yeah.
moving, you negotiated this, that okay, how much time I have to give to research and what are the other activities I can do. And
Yeah.
even then you incorporated one extra step to that, that okay, going for leadership,
Yep.
making collaboration, interaction with all these. What are your suggestions to the new postdocs who have joined all over the world, wherever they are watching this video? What are the things they should be doing at this moment?
Yeah, if they are doing the postdoc, then I told they have to embrace curiosity, and they have to be persistent, and they have to be making the first connections so that they can foster the collaboration. And they have also practice the critical thinking. So like they have to think critically, so that how whatever they have thought or thinking, how they are going to implement in this research, like
Mm-hmm.
what experiment they will do, and how what cheap experiment, what is the simplest experiment they have to do, and they have to execute that thinking in a right way. And they have to also focus on the ethical conduct, like
Yes.
emphasize on the ethical conduct. They have to bond with the protocol and the ethical things, right?
Yes.
And also they have to communicate effectively, which I am learning too. So
Mm-hmm.
if they will communicate effectively, they will sell their research in a better way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so if they will not communicate, then it is very hard to like describe the what they are doing, right? So
Yes.
and also, oh yeah, is they have to stay updated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And ready to adopt, like
Mm-hmm.
updated is fine, but some people are not ready to adopt, so they have to
Mm-hmm.
adopt very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have to make a balance between their passion and self-care, actually, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so and also what I can do is there is nothing impossible, actually. Even impossible is saying I'm possible, right? So,
Absolutely. This is, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, because nowadays I can say there is no need of educated mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I feel only a well-formed mind is needed, actually, because nowadays artificial intelligence is there, so lots of information is there, so there is no need to mug up all the information. How to form those information in a right way, how to
Mm-hmm.
interlink those knowledge in a better way, so that nobody has done in the previous, you have to see those knowledge in a other way, so that no one has seen in the in the past. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the research, actually. You have to see the question in a different angle, how to solve that questions, right?
Yes, I think the way Shashi has summarized this cannot be asked the better way. So, all the audience, if I have to repeat what Shashi just mentioned, the ethics in science is very important. People are, what we have seen is more, more focused about it now, as was it in the present. The second thing is adaptation. You should be more adaptable. Either it is for a different lab environment or for different questions, research questions, if you have to change the fields. The third thing is maintaining the balance between your well being and your research. Because
Mhm.
if you are healthy, well, peace in mind, then only you can perform anything, not only in research, but even for a general person. This is very important, although sometimes it is tough to keep that balance, but you should always work towards it. With this, we'll say thank you very much, Shashi, for this enriching experience, sharing with all of our viewers, and I hope they can get benefited. Yes.
And in the last, I will say, in the research, there is no negative and positive result. So all results are positive. Only our interpretation should be not in a right way. So if it is lying in a right way, you are saying positive result. If it is not lying in a negative way, so you are saying negative result. So there is no negative and positive. All results are results,
Results.
actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that was the best line to summarize this and then have this conversation going. So, for all the viewers, if you want to ask any question, Shashi is available on LinkedIn. You can find him. If you want Empowering Science Foundation to keep you in touch with our researcher celebrities, you can write it to Empowering Science Foundation. And never lose your hope or your interest in research. Be a researcher. And thank you very much. Our today's researcher celebrity is Shashi Shekhar Singh. Shashi, thank you very much for sharing your
Thank you.
journey with us.
Thank you so much. And be curious.